Greetings everyone. Today is February the 14th, St. Valentine's Day, when we remember somewhat tenuously the martyrdom of St. Valentine, said to be a 3rd century physician and priest who refused to deny Christ and was secretly marrying Roman soldiers in defiance of the emperor. But I want to focus on something far more important, on Jesus' transfiguration. Have you noticed how some TV programmes begin at a breakneck pace, with flashing images and brief scattergun events? Sometimes after 5 minutes, I ask Sue, my wife, what on earth is going on? And she says, patience, Rob, it'll come clear soon. And sure enough, slowly it does become into focus, and I begin to understand. Mark in his Gospel sometimes feels a bit like that. He's been taking us on a roller coaster tour of Jesus' early life. His disciples, those first followers of his, were trying to keep up with him and to understand their rabbi, their friend, this Jesus. He turned their lives upside down, performing miracles, healings, exorcisms, mass feedings, even calming nature. And what stories and teaching they'd heard, stretching their minds, their spiritual imagination in new ways, yet with such authority, unlike the normal religious leaders. Crowds had gathered in huge numbers to see him, to hear him. Most of them were for him, but some were against him. Every day he had walked with them, talked with them, slept and ate with them, their friend, their remarkable friend. But who was he? Was he more than just a friend? Was he perhaps a prophet, an Elijah, or another John the Baptist, come to call out the powers that be, challenging them to the ways of justice and righteousness, to the ways of God? Or was he even more than that? Just before the Transfiguration, Peter begins to think that maybe, just maybe, he's the one everyone's been waiting for, the longed-for Messiah, the Christ, the culmination of God's dealings with humanity. Many of us listening today, just like Peter, have heard about Jesus. We've read about him. We've seen him to be more than just a man. And finally we've said to him, Jesus, I will follow you wherever you lead. You have the words of truth. You offer me forgiveness and deep inner peace. You've conquered death and opened the way to new life, both here on earth and beyond the grave. You've promised to be with me through your Spirit, to guide and encourage me every day. You're the one I will follow, my Messiah, my Lord. I hope that's been true for you as it has been for me, and that you've been richly blessed. But what if, as we follow him, he leads us down a road we don't want to go? Or he says no to the road that we do want to go, or the action we want to take? What happens? Who wins? Just after Peter's momentous declaration, Jesus begins to share his salvation plan, his path to glory. But it comes through suffering and self-sacrifice. Peter doesn't like this plan. He has his own ideas of what Jesus should be doing. You're the mighty Messiah. Come on, let's set up a free Jewish state, no longer under Roman domination. You can't do what you've just said. Immediately, Jesus rebuked him severely. Get behind me, Satan, he says. Or rather, Peter, if you want to follow me, I'm the leader. I'm in charge, not you. Have you already forgotten who I am? I'm the Messiah, not a tame mascot, there to bless or tolerate every plan or action that you take. Now we see Jesus leading Peter, James and John up a mountain. As they trudge ever higher, what are those three disciples thinking? Who really is Jesus? He's their friend, he's their companion, he's their rabbi, but he is human, isn't he? Surely, yes. But when they get to the top of the mountain, Jesus' deeper identity is revealed. He's transfigured before them, and they see who he truly is. His divine nature is fully revealed, blazing with such glory they're blinded and confused. There's no place here for human input, whatever Peter may think with his offer of building shelters. Jesus is indeed their friend, but he's much, much more. As today's epistle from Corinthians says, he's the very image of God. He can't be pushed around. His will is perfect. And they, and we, should yield graciously, knowing that his wisdom and his guidance is given in love for our ultimate good. Ignore him at our peril. As our Heavenly Father says from the cloud, listen to him, my Son, whom I love. Peter had to go on learning this all his life, and so do we. How do we listen to him? By spending time with him in prayer and reflection, with his word, seeking his will in our lives, learning to discern it, and being ready to trust and obey him at all times. He is definitely our friend who loves us and shows us how to live, and through his Spirit and his word walks alongside us. What a comfort that is. But when our prayers and our longings don't seem to be answered, and our plans aren't working out, don't despair. Hang in there. Remember, he's also the divine Lord who hasn't forgotten us. He's powerful, working in love for our inner transformation, even through the tough times. Everything he does for us is to help us, to grow us, to encourage us, and to move us forward. So, will we do what our Heavenly Father says? Will we listen to him